Some President Biden's top allies in Senate have criticized ministration's moves against Israel, including recent approval of arms sales to military that sidelined Congress, while also calling on Israelis to halt months' intense fighting. Just before New Year, Biden administration approved, for second time in a month, regulation that provides for transfer of weapons to Israel without congressional approval. But for weeks, senior U.S. officials have called on Israel to ensure civilians are not harmed as the death toll in Gaza rises to the tens of thousands. Senate Democrats, meanwhile, say transfer of weapons to Israel without congressional oversight undermines transparency and marks the latest split among Democrats when it comes to Israel-Hamas war. The United States should not write a blank check for war in Gaza, and his right-wing government, which has shown gross disrespect for Palestinian civilians, Sen. Elizabeth Warren told The Hill, if the Biden administration will not be transparent with Congress and the American people, Congress must act and close these loopholes in arms sales to Israel. Congressional review is a critical step in reviewing any major arms sale. The Biden administration, which late last year proposed an aid package to Israel and Ukraine combining money that Congress had not pre-provided, defended the sale. The United States is committed to security of Israel, and ensuring that Israel can defend itself against threats it faces is vital to national interest of United States. The spokesman added Congress was notified that Blinken used his delegated authority to determine an emergency existed requiring immediate approval of the transfer due to the urgency of Israel's defense needs. But the past few weeks have seen a marked increase in pressure from U.S. officials, many of whom have traveled to the region, calling on Israel to ease its offensive in Gaza and focus on targeting Hamas while minimizing civilian casualties. While Biden's pro-Israel stance has remained steadfast since the deadly attacks on October 7, fissures between Netanyahu, Biden and other U.S. officials have become public, especially when it comes to post-war Gaza and the intensity of conflict in Gaza. But the second arms sale to Israel without congressional approval has senators questioning the White House's strategy and messaging. The State Department believes, as I do, that Israel should receive the supplies it needs to defend itself against Hamas, Schumer said. But others on left have become increasingly suspicious the Israelis, particularly because of their opposition to Netanyahu's handling situation. Sen. Bernie Sanders on Tuesday urged lawmakers to withhold more than $10 billion in military funding for the country, arguing it would be used to continue Israel's grossly disproportionate and immoral war in Gaza. While we recognize that Hamas' barbaric attack started this war, we must also recognize that Israel's military response was grossly disp.